Yeah, yeah, they are the real, cornerstone and pillar. And at Voice of Woman, we are all for, the mother power. So, I guess to
Of
get
course.
started with the
Yeah.
conversation now, in today, earlier, like if we talk about something during the early, like late 90s, early 2000, the family structure was very different to what it is now. So now there's a lot of,
Mm.
growing acceptance or growing prevalence of, single parent, not just, through divorce, but a lot of people are, adopting their child, raising children single-handedly. There are a lot of people from the pride community who are now, having babies through IVF. They're adopting young children who are, orphaned, and creating, different blends of family that are happy, that are secure, and most importantly, thriving. So, as a single parent yourself, how do you effectively manage time and sort of prioritize between, work and family? Because you are the breadwinner, you are the one who's, taking care of the child. So, you have like tremendous amount of responsibilities to shoulder with sort of nobody to, give you that kind of support. I mean, there is always a village that is there. We have parents, grandparents, families, and friends who pitch in. But as a, primary caregiver for your child, how do you manage work and home?
Okay. Since very good question at the very beginning, Pratigya. Now, since you have started from very basics, the very basics, I would touch the basics as well while answering this, to give more clarity. In You said very correctly earlier, we had joint family systems within the house. We used to learn a lot of things, how to manage between looking after the family, caring for the family, looking after self, and a lot of other things that everybody used to do, not just women. I am very particular of not talking just about what women do or how they do,
Mhm.
but even men have their own issues, and even there are single dads around, right?
Correct.
Today, in
Yes.
today's time,
Yeah.
and they are also doing their girls braids, and sending them off to school, going to work, and managing cooking and everything. So we should not disregard that. But since we are on a platform, we are majorly addressing the voice of women. I would say we have come a long way from that phase to now, where it is very clear to me now. So earlier it was sort of there was a shadow, but now it's very clear that as parents also, we are self-made. So people often say the term or use the term self-made for careers, okay,
Mhm.
or for businesses, that he's a self-made man, she's a self-made woman of sorts. But I feel it's also a very important thing to acknowledge and to recognize that we are self-made parents as well, because parenting is one thing that we learn when we see, listen, observe our parents. Okay, so
Mhm.
it's not that we get to go to a school uh, to learn as we learn or go through the education phase, right? Or that period where we go from junior KG, or we could say kindergarten, to graduation, post graduation, masters, and then we go for jobs, right? Of
Mhm.
course, we have internships these days, but to not digress the topic, we are not born with the skill of parenting. We don't get into any kind of a school or an institution to learn parenting.
Mhm.
So, what happens is, to answer your question now to the point, to learn to manage it effectively, there are a lot of factors, there are a lot of aspects that contributes to our own personality over a period of time. For example, the peer group does not just matter during the school days or college days or when you're studying, it matters all through your life. And sometimes we have sort of new peer groups because we change countries, like I did, right? I moved to Dubai. I started my career there actually after education. Then I came back to India. So managing all this effectively is was a learning in process, like how a person does learning on the job, a part of learning on the job. This was a learning process when I was into that system, when I was into that institution of parenting. And what became very important for me was to manage between um, self care. Now, when I say self care, of course, it means how much much time am I giving myself to relax, to do something that I really like? It may or may not be labeled as a hobby or
Mm-hmm.
an interest, but it's something that really makes me feel happy in the entire day. Okay, one
Correct.
is that. Secondly, making time for your children in a way that children feel that yes, you sat with them and they have that memory with you, with them when they grow up also. So imagine if my daughter is right now 13. If she was 25, whenever she's 25, she should be able to share that particular time that I spent with her doing what?
Yeah.
Playing board games, talking to her, joking with her, dancing with her, singing with her, playing chess or whatever she likes, or appreciating her other skills like artwork and everything. So that's also very important. And setting boundaries with people. So when we set boundaries with other people outside of your parenting system, like you and your child or children,
Mm-hmm.
helps you to actually manage a lot of things.
Correct.
And especially in a culture like India, social life goes hand in hand with work life, and you cannot avoid that.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow is Friday, it is working, okay, it's a work day. I still have like two invitations, and I cannot avoid both. Now that's not really to party or something, it's some prayer kind of a session, and another is some workshop at my daughter's school that is important. Now these are certain things you can't avoid, but there are certain uh, invitations, there are certain socializing activities that you can avoid by just thinking whether this is more important or that is more important, whether this is more important or spending time at home with my own self, even if not my, all right to be able to do this during your weekdays. So there are a lot of things that you have to question yourself, and with time you will be able to set those boundaries, and then you'll be able to manage everything. So coming back to it, effective ways of handling it is to understand, give yourself time, stop feeling guilty about small things, and stop regretting small things. Instead, just take the learning and move on. Okay, now I can do this better than when I did it last time. And trying to be organized in whatever you do. Set realistic goals. Don't just go on like by the end of this year, I want to save this amount of money. This should be in my bank account. That's not okay. At a broader perspective, that's a good goal to have. But you should know what will be your pathway, what will be your roadmap to be able to reach to that point. And even if you do not reach 100% to that point, you reach 60%, 70%, you're good. You're in the right track, basically.
Correct.
So this is basically how I learned to balance out things and to manage things. I have learned to say no, no to a lot of things, set my boundaries, and definitely do something every day where I feel that I'm happy, I'm all right, I'm content with myself.
Correct. So I think to recap, it's as you mentioned, Harsha, that it's important. Hi, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are. Please go on.
Yes. So as to sort of recap, that find time for yourself. I think that's very important. A lot of parents, like irrespective of gender, I think parent is a very gender neutral term.
Mhm.
Parents often forget that they need to be sort of present for themselves to sort of be present for their child, and making those conscious effort, and asking yourself, what is more important, and prioritizing it. So I think these are some wonderful tips, Harsha, and I think any parent can sort of take a note from it, and sort of make their relationship with their child so much more fulfilling, because I think childhood is a very limited time. Soon they are, you said your daughter is a teenager already, and they're, we all know that how the teenage personality sort of changes, and then they'll soon be, out of home, into college, universities, works. I think childhood is a very, very precious time for anybody. I can experience that with my own nieces and nephews, and I'm sure every parent in the conversation today can, vouch for that. Now, so you are an entrepreneur, and you sort of have some sort of control over your work day. But I'm sure, entrepreneurs have even more demanding schedule than, those of us who are working 9 to 5. But how can, corporate setup sort of, create that supportive work environment for parents, and specifically, for single parent, because a lot of offices still lack, paternity leave, and even maternity leave, globally also is there's a lot of debate that is going on, because many times it's a few weeks, or barely a month of holiday that they get. So how can, work environment create that sort of supportive environment for, single parents who are adopting, and so on.
See, it is very nice. It is very, what to say, motivating to see that now companies and HR teams and recruiters, even senior management sort of teams have been thinking of this, and a lot of companies have come up with ideas, have come up with strategies where they are creating a supportive environment. Because honestly, until even when I was in Dubai and I was pregnant, I worked just 2 days before my delivery, also my daughter's delivery, also
Wow.
just 2 days before, also, and that too a very difficult and very troublesome kind of a phase. Okay, I
Hmm.
would not get into that because
Yeah.
that will again digress us. Now the thing is, what can they do? Um, they can just basically having maternity leave, paternity leave is one thing.
Hmm.
Um, you do not really have to make them feel weaker or make them feel different. So if I am, for example, pregnant and I'm in the 6th month or 7th month, and my baby bump starts to show and something, then people become very, what to say, cautious. They start to uh, come to you with juices, with food and whatever, and they ask you 10 times a day, how are you, and are you feeling the nausea thing that happens with parents usually. You don't have to really do all of that. All you can do is, if the parents need any kind of support on duty, like during the work or in the work itself, or the responsibilities itself, there you can be little supportive, understanding, and just try to see if there can be any kind of sharing that happens, like sharing what they're feeling rather than what they are going through. These are two different things. And saying that I understand is one thing, but you can't feel what I feel.
Yeah.
Correct. Um, and you can't feel it because you're not in my position. One is that, and secondly, I am sometimes not able to, a parent is not able to, or to be parent is not able to explain what she's or he's going through. Even if it's a father, they don't really need to have a baby bump, but they go through a lot of changes because the mother is going through a lot. She's going through hormonal changes, she's going through mental changes, she's going through emotional changes. There's a lot of society pressure. uh, she still has to juggle between the same responsibilities. So the pressure is always passed on to the father also, or
Right.
to be father also. So we have to be careful in understanding their situation. A lot of people mock them, a lot of people make fun of this also at workplaces, which is very sad. So the organization overall can make some rules, some code of ethics when it comes to dealing with to be parents.
Correct.
So the best part is you can create that kind of an environment. You can create that kind of a setup that has some feeling that the parent or to be parent feels comfortable to be able to talk about it, to be able to say the or ask, come to you. You have to be approachable. The management has to be approachable enough. So I walk up to them and tell them, see, this is what I'm feeling today. I'm not able to concentrate. Can I get some help? So if you are, if as an HR or as a senior management, you're not approachable for your employees,
Yeah.
that's the major problem.
So,
So leaves is one thing, but there should be a comfort zone. There should be this kind of an environment.
correct,
Yeah, go
Harsha.
ahead, Pratigya.
Yes, correct. I completely agree, because, even when it comes to leaves or anything, because pregnancy or, raising a child, there's no textbook rule for it. It's not like, a project that has a certain stages and you're done with it. Every child, every parenting journey is different. So it's like as you mentioned, it's very essential that the HR, the reporting managers, the entire management sort of has that open door policy, is welcoming for any parent to sort of go up to them and discuss their concern, and they can sort of come to a mutual sort of understanding where the company work is not hampered, but their journey with the child is also sort of given a precedence. Now so now, so when we talk about 2024 and a couple of years since COVID and the future, a lot of hybrid work is becoming more common, or remote work is becoming common. And we had a lot of women speakers, before you on our platform, who said that sort of remote work has opened up a vast opportunity for them to sort of manage their home and work. They do not have to choose between the two. They're sort of still able to work while raising a child. The guilt is somewhere somewhat a little lessened. So how can a single parent find flexible work arrangements that accommodate their parenting needs? Is it something do you think it's helpful? Is it helping single parents?
See, there are a lot of external factors. There are a lot of things related to the organization itself that is not in the hands of a single parent or any parent for that matter. Now, you cannot push an organization alone to take some decisions or change things around. You cannot ask for something um, which is not in their control as well. So, for example, if I'm a single parent and
Mm-hmm.
there's another lady who travels down miles and comes to work every day on daily basis, she may or may not be a single parent. That's a different story.
Yeah.
Now, if there is an arrangement made for me only specifically, and actually that lady is probably, let's take an example that she's a duo parent, okay? She has a husband also.
Mm-hmm.
It is not necessary that she is not juggling between things. She's also juggling equally. Okay, and in Indian setup or Indian culture, many of the fathers now they are starting to take part and they are involved in the upbringing. But they have become supportive. But in our times, like even my parents' times or my brother's times when he became a parent, I did not see him getting a lot of himself involved into that whole parenting thing. So that lady might not feel nice about this, that there is a certain arrangement made for me, and she when she requested that, that did not happen. So this is one scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one factor that is not in my hand as a single parent. Okay.
Correct.
And this may create a tiff or a difficult situation between me and my colleague,
Mhm.
who until now were best of friends probably
Yeah.
at work, right? But there are certain things on within your system, your own personal, the way you carry out your life, your lifestyle,
Mhm.
that you can change around to be able to incorporate whatever the organization has set, okay,
Mhm.
as rules and ethics. And you can also request them in a certain way that these are the things which I can ask you, and please try and help me with these things uh, when it comes to flexible work hours. So you are not typically asking them to reduce the quantity of your work, or telling them that you will be working less hours a day,
Correct.
okay, in comparison with other employees. But you can definitely ask them that, can you make it that flexible that I manage my time to do everything?
Mhm.
On certain days my priorities will be my child, because the school has called, there is a meeting, there is assessment checking, and a lot of other things, and there I have to go to pay bills, I have to go to the bank. So before even starting your job at an organization,
Mhm.
or the time when you are actually going through that phase of separation and you know that you will be soon a single parent,
Yeah.
then you can inform them. So here I'm saying it is your responsibility as a single parent to inform your organization of what's going on. I'll give you a live example. My example,
Mhm.
I spoke to my manager the moment I got a feeling that I this is separation is on the way, and there might be days when I'm not really feeling very charged and very I'm not going to be able to be productive. Okay, my morale is not going to be that high, because when you are in that phase of separation, it is very difficult to deal with your own self, leave alone the external things.
Correct.
So I kept my manager informed, my immediate manager, my team manager informed
Mm.
about what was going on. And trust me, she was very supportive. But she was known for being a very strict manager, the most strict manager in the organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very tough lady.
Mm.
But when she got to know this, there are a lot of mistakes that I made at work,
Mm.
and she did not tell me. She knew about it. She did not tell me. When we had the next meeting after a few days,
Mm.
I told her that, look, I think I have made this mistake. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But there are these days where I have made this mistake at work. And she just smiled and she said, I know, Harsha. I know. So I was like, you knew? I was so shocked. And she said, yes, I knew. But I know what you're going through. It's all right. And it does not mean that I am not going to be hard on you from now on, because that was a phase that I let you be the way you were, to gather yourself, to be able to handle your emotions and feelings. And now I feel that you're being open about it, and you know, you're aware that you made some mistakes. Just step up, go ahead and do your work. This time your performance has been 85%. Next time I want to see 90%. And the next time 95%.
Correct.
So if when I am clear with my management, when I am clear with my office, and I speak very clearly and to the point and tell them this is what is going on, and I'm foreseeing certain things
Mm.
that will come, a big change will come in my life. You got to let them know, because otherwise what will happen, the change in your life may have an impact in their daily uh, carrying out of their work and other responsibilities that they have. And why should they change for you?
Correct.
Why should they turn the system all around for you suddenly one day? So you can't come with, saying that I'm divorced and now I want this kind of. No, that's not how you do it.
Mm.
You got to look at what the way you are going to communicate, the way you are going to conduct yourself. That's what people makes people empowered. That's what people will make people understand what you're going through, and then they will be able to help you. If they don't understand, they are not informed well in advance.
Mm.
I'm sorry, you might be expecting too much on a certain given day.
Correct. Uh, Now, so you spoke about that how challenging it is, to go through a separation, through a divorce. Now, not just that, when we're talking about the Indian society, often even after you have sort of separated from your spouse, there's a lot of societal pressure, especially if, again, if you're a woman, or if you are a member from the pride community who has done an amazing thing of raising a child by yourself, or somebody like Sushmita Sen. She's a celebrity, and 20 years back she decided to just adopt a child and raise her, and she has done it wonderfully. But there's a lot of stigma, and there is a lot of pressure that there is, and that impacts your mental health to a great extent. Like you're sort of shouldering it all yourself. So how can you keep yourself sort of calm, a level head, and how do you address these challenges?
So, when I was going through separation, or actually when the decision was made that my ex spouse and I are going to get a divorce, I was in Dubai at that time, so I had to travel down, and we had to file the divorce, of course, and it took a while, and then COVID happened, so ours was delayed quite a bit.
Mhm.
Now, what happens is, it's very important that now you're a parent, you're obviously more mature than you were 5 years back and 10 years back, or probably even 2 years back. So now that you're mature, try to understand that you live in a system. Okay, this is what I did. uh, I know that I'm living in a particular system where there is families around me, there are children, and this is what makes a society. A society was built, a community was built many, many years back when we had great philosophers. Okay. That time, why? Because everyone had to protect their own, and everyone needed a certain comfort zone and known people around them to be able to mingle with them, to be able to have enjoy life also, along with working hard.
Yeah.
Okay, and looking after your responsibilities. Now, when I say you have to be, you got to sit down. You got to understand that now that you're going through this change, there will be times when you are emotionally too overwhelmed. There will be times when you are not able to handle things and you may behave in a certain fashion.
Mm.
It's fine. It's fine. Just when you have crossed that phase, forgive yourself for that and move ahead. Now you can sit down and think that you live in a certain society. In Dubai, of course, the difference between India and Dubai is a little bit of people don't interfere in
Mm.
your lives.
Yeah.
People don't give you free advice or unsolicited advice. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Here, you forget about asking for advice or free advice or something. People are just ready to text you or call you and tell you that why are you doing this, why are you not doing that, and they would look at your social media and they would start commenting on it, or they'd start your own people will start trolling you,
Yeah.
basically. So you got to understand that if, for example, let's take the example of clothes. Now,
Yeah.
I knew when I was moving back from Dubai to India
Mhm.
in during COVID times, I knew that I am going to step into a totally different kind of a cultural society.
Yeah.
Although there are a lot of Indians in Dubai, and Dubai is also conservative to a certain extent,
Yeah.
not because of us, but because of the locals there.
Yeah.
So here, when I knew that I'm going to come back, I was mentally preparing myself at the back of the head
Mhm.
that am I comfortable wearing clothes where society will not comment a lot? Am I comfortable, or do I like these kind of clothes also? Do I like to conduct myself this way also?
Yeah.
Is it necessary for me to step out in the middle of the night or come home middle of the night? Is it, or is all this necessary
Yeah.
or not necessary?
Mhm.
Um, will I be comfortable not doing this and doing that?
Yeah.
Um, and if the answer is yes with both, then rather choose a way that you be a part of a society also, and you see to it that the society doesn't trouble you. There are two ways to look at it. One is that this person is pinpointing me, it is my life. Uh, I will do what I want. This is one kind of attitude people have.
Yeah.
But what about, instead, what about thinking
Mhm.
or having a kind of attitude? No, I'm living in a society. There are people, they are brought up in a certain way. There are certain things ingrained in them. You cannot change that.
Yeah.
But if there is a slight tweaking that you have to do in the way you conduct yourself,
Mhm.
whether it's clothes, food, outing, friends, time management, anything, parenting, if you can do that and live happily and not give a chance to people to trouble you,
Mhm.
okay, not call for it,
Yeah.
then it becomes easy. In fact, the same society and those same people will become supportive and they will help you,
Mhm.
because
Correct.
you never know with life. You never know. I never imagined, even in my like farthest of dreams, I never imagined I'm going to go through a divorce
Mhm.
and be a single parent, right?
Correct. Correct.
So things happen in life. There are a lot of factors because of which that happened. Probably it's destined, it's written, it's or there are certain doings of people that push you to do that or take that decision, whatever that may be. But just think about how you can tweak a little bit of your conduct
Mhm.
so that the society who can go against you actually turns into supporting you.
Correct. So, Harsha, I mean, very wonderfully put that, how you mold your perception and how you mold yourself so that, people cannot take advantage of you. So when we are talking about that, we need to address also the support system that, every parent has, single or duo parent, because again, raising a child, needs a complete village. So how does one, especially as a single parent, where you are, sort of lacking the support of one half of the family. So how does one, build that strong support network to cope with the stress and isolation that comes with it?
um, there's a way to look at it. So stop having too many people around you who are not going to be able to help you.
Mhm.
Now, they may mean well, each to their own. They may mean well, but they cannot support you. So, one thing that really worked for me was Um Blocking a lot of people from my separation phase. Blocking in the sense, not blocking on WhatsApp. Okay. So blocking them out in the sense I stopped talking to too many friends or people about my problem. See, I believe in one thing. The number of times you say something is the same number of times you're actually listening to it also, and it is also registering in your mind.
Very
I'm
wonderfully
not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if people are able to understand this right now. 10 people listening. I'll repeat that. The number of times you say something from your mouth, the same number of times you're listening to it, and that gets registered in your mind. So imagine you're speaking about your problem to 50 people, to 100 people, same problem, and you're repeating those same words, similar words, again and again and again. What it does is it moves your, or it shifts your concentration, your focus from solution, thinking of solutions, to back to the problems. So this is what actually helped me. I have best of friends in Dubai even today. Um, they were like, I had a big group of friends. Thanks to my ex-spouse, because his group was very comfortable communicating with me, and I was very comfortable with them, and we became best of friends. We're a big group actually. Now all of us were very close, but there was only two people per se, one of my cousins and one of my friends, whom I used to communicate with. Except them, all others, they tried to contact me, they tried to get in touch, they wanted to speak about it. There was another friend of mine from Hong Kong who visited Dubai and always met me whenever she came down, and I was close to her also, but I said no, do not want to repeat the same problem. I was already too stressed, I was in depression, and I was trying to heal my own self. I was trying to work on self therapy rather than talking to 10 people, taking 10 different advices or 50 different advices, and then cluttering my mind, getting confused, and cloud my mind with all this, and then eventually end up taking wrong decisions.
correct.
It's a very crucial phase. It is a very important phase when you are making a decision of whether you want to go with separation or not.
Yeah,
So for me, it was very clear
mhm,
that I want to go ahead with this only because I had decluttered my mind. I did not cloud my mind more than it was already clouded.
mhm.
And then I made a decision. And now I can say that this one thing was sort of my support system also. This was one thing that helped me internally, my inner self, that helped me. Probably it was intuition or instinct or some way universe was trying to help me,
Mhm.
but this is what really worked out.
I mean, Harsha, I think when you sort of voice it out and say that the number of times you repeat it is the number of times you're listening to it. I mean, somewhere I think personally for me, I think I believe it intrinsically, but I never sort of could word it out. But thank you so much. I think that is the key takeaway from our conversation today. To internalize the problem, to find the solution internally rather than sort of asking everybody, because again everybody is not in your shoe and they have different point of views, different belief systems. So too many again suggestions from a good place, but they can be not beneficial for you. And I think your friends and family sort of understand it when you sort of distance yourself, and then you come back stronger, that you needed that alone time. Sometimes the biggest support people can give is to sort of leave you alone for the time being. Now, going to the next question. So, you mentioned that you did a lot of self therapy. So, what self care practices can single parents sort of do to incorporate into their daily routine to ensure the well?
One is, of course, as I said, when you are you asking about who are already single parents, or who going through the phase of separation and will become single parents, or I just need a clarity on that, so I'll answer accordingly.
Maybe those who are opting to be single parent, just sort of a generic. I know it's a very extensive topic, but sort of a generic overview of how one can sort of cope with it and deal with the challenges that come with it, the self care bit.
Okay. Um, One was, of course, as I told you, that stay away from toxic environment, toxic people, people who cannot really help you. So sort of think of, see, you cannot suddenly stop talking to someone, okay? But you can gradually reduce it. So start reducing talking to or staying in touch a lot with toxic people around you. Second, start setting boundaries. Um, Learn to say no. It's really tough, especially for a person like me. I have been a people's person all my life. It was very tough for me to say no to things, to work, extra work, staying up late night until 2 a.m. and working and writing. Um, but yes, I started setting boundaries with clients and also with people in my life, personal relationships with me. Relatives, friends, and third is, in today's time, it is very, very important to have good sleep. 7 to 8 hours of sleep is a must. And trust me when I say this, Pratigya, I do not compromise on my 8 hours sleep. If I have had only 6 hours sleep at night, I would ensure once my daughter has gone to school, I would sleep for another 1 hour or 2 hours to compensate for that, or I would take a 1 hour sleep, sorry, in the afternoon. So I do not compromise, because what happens is when you are sleeping and when you wake up after that, your brain has, not just your brain, your entire body, all the organs, they have the power of healing. Okay, they sort of restart when you wake up after 8 hours of sleep, and they will restart in a way that you can go on the entire day, no matter how stressful it is. Fourth thing, this was the third one. Fourth, paying attention to what you're eating, what you're consuming in terms of content. It could be reading, it could be watching something on OTT, it could be speaking to someone over the phone. So you got to see and understand and analyze what are you talking, what are you putting into your system. So it is related to your stomach and your brain. You got to focus on these things. What am I taking in? Is it nutritious enough for me? Even if it's when your brain, are you talking to those people, or are you talking about the stuff which is irrelevant and it is not nutritious for your brain, for your mind? Okay. And same for the body, your stomach and get into some kind of a physical activity. um, I learned this the hard way, Pratigya. I've been through an open heart surgery, and after that, I started focusing more on my physical activity per se. Not that I wasn't fit or something earlier. This happened very suddenly, the heart issue. But then, after it was gone, and after I've come back into this normal life system, when I recovered, I've started yoga, and it really helps me. That 1 hour, 1 to 1.5 hour, my family, my friends, my clients, everybody knows I'm not going to compromise on that time. If I'm asked for a meeting at 5:30 p.m., I'm going to say a straight no. I'm not available. If I have missed a class for some reason, I would cover it on a Saturday or a Sunday, but I'll not compromise on that. So, physical activity. Number six, seeing to it that we spend some time outdoors. It may not be possible every day. Like, I work from home, so I don't step out every day. But whenever I have a chance to go out, breathe, walk, take a walk with my mom in the evenings, I would do that. And having some mindful moments during the day. So for me, it's very important that I wake up in the morning, I have my cup of tea with me, and I sit by my window. There's greenery outside we can see outside the window. I would sit there, think of my entire day, how it is going to be, what am I going to do? Um, is there anything extra that I can include that I haven't been able to complete yesterday, etc., whatever. Sit down, write something, or just plainly just think, have some mindful moments. So these are the things. And spending time with, now we talk a lot about quality time with your child. Self care is one part, or one layer of self care is also that you have accomplished something that makes you feel that, yes, I did this. It could be small. It may not necessarily be something big like winning an award or something, okay, or having a high ticket client on board. But it may be something very little that I helped my child with studies today, and my child is feeling much better about the particular subject. I played board game with my child for 15 minutes only. I had a chat with my, I had a discussion with my daughter. Like every Sunday mornings, me and my daughter, we sit down by the window with our cup of tea. We eat fruits and we start talking about random stuff. And trust me, this random stuff brings out so much from the child you can't imagine. And that's how I discover what my child is doing at school, who are her actually close friends, how is she dealing with the issues in the class, how are other children behaving, how is a particular teacher behaving or conducting in the class. Everything comes out. So when we say quality time, it's not just related to taking your child to a mall, taking your child to a park, or spending 2 hours or 3 hours, and then you feel like, oh, I spent time with my child. No, 15 minutes is also going to be a good start. Just talking to your child is going to be enough. While sleeping, we talk. Sometimes when she's not sleepy, I, being a parent, switch on a gadget and I say, okay, let's watch something funny. Let's watch something calm, or play a mantra, the Om chanting or something. Play old songs. And then I tell her stories of my childhood. I tell her stories of the Indian film industry 20 years back, or any other, or history, or some character. So these are the things, if you can involve, if you can sort of put in into your system and manage things better than you did yesterday, I'm sure you're good to go for another 30, 40 years. And if you just follow this routine, you're great. Another